Okay, good morning. It's a wonderful day today here, and very happy that the master had finished her trip around Taiwan and back to Hualien abroad yesterday. And this morning we have a breakfast with a master, and can see that actually master, I think she quite full of energy. Yeah. So, and let us start today for the sharing. Okay. So I just continue for the next slide. And actually, master's dimension that time can help us to accomplish many things. And also, if we fully utilize the time, that can help us to get things to do success. And if in the other way, maybe we just to become lazy and we do nothing, and not just for ourselves, and also we have nothing to contribute to the society as well. And very luckily, because we are volunteer joining the Tzu Chi, and at least I think more or less we are still doing something good thing, and we accumulate this good deeds for next future. So must remember time is very important, because we pass the second we pass and we can't get back to the last second that we just passed. So we have to grab this moment. And like master say, she every day she wake up the 3:30 a.m. and she have more than 4.5 hours than before those people who sleep until 8 o'clock, for example. And for us, we are wake up at 3:50 sharp after the wooden board starts shrinking. And I think at least we are earlier than those who sleep until 8 or 9 or maybe 7 o'clock before they go to work. And at least we still have more than a few hours than those who are late wake up. So what we do is, like master say, we cannot take a rest now, because when we come to the end of our life, we can rest in peace. We don't need to get any more. So we have to take this opportunity when we're still young, or when we still, have a breathing, and we must, take good use in our every second of the time. So this is what masters always mention. Time is very important. Yeah. So, and of course, master also say, we, our Tzu Chi volunteer, and especially for her, say that she cannot sleep or take rest very peacefully, because in the whole world, as we know, there's a lot of disaster happen. No matter it's a man-made or the nature. So, we still have to carry on our Tzu Chi mission to do the good. So we have to, we are the disciple of master, and we also have to take master commission as our own, and we have to live up the spirit of Bodhisattva, which is we can go on this right path, and we can do. Yeah, this is not 抽象怎么说？This is a very real thing that we can do. Yeah. So master say every second have to be take this in the life. And remember, in the wisdom of life on the in the July of 6th, master did mention that we cannot take a break, because she say she have to encourage us to keep our mind clear and transform our consciousness into wisdom, so that our future life we can know what we will want to go for the right direction, and we can create our own path, and we can work on it. This is recently what master did mention, that why we cannot take a break for this reason. And there's a story that I heard before. This is this a few years ago. Master, went to the hospital to visit one of the senior commissioner. Actually, before she passed away, she stayed in our hospital in Hualien. And as I heard that Master been to visit her for a couple of times, but for the first time, Master didn't meet her because she slept. And after that, the second or third time, when Master finally got a chance to meet her because she wake up, and Master say, "Oh, you every time I want to visit you, you are asleep." And the commissioner say, she's very wisdom to answer that. She say, "Oh, Master, as I know that you're very busy, yeah, and you have no time to sleep." So she said she will sleep for Master, yeah. So although this is very, this kind of a conversation is very short, but for Master and for the personal, the warranted itself, I think this is like a strategy, because Master say she doesn't during her time, and Master believed that this commissioner when she passed away, because after Master visit her, I think on the day or the next day, and this senior commissioner, and before she passed away, and she looked around surrounding her who are at the back, and everyone say goodbye, and then she just leave. This is what Master dimension in the book as well. So Master says she believed that this volunteer should have remained very firm of the aspiration herself, and Master said believe that she already bring this good good vow to the next life. This is Master say, I think believe that she already be our leader Bodhisattva who come again to the Tzu Chi family. This is what Master say that. So, and of course, Master also say because her life is like candle burning above ends, because she's getting old, and the action of Master also not too fast and getting slowly. And Master say that she hope that every inch of the candle can give the light to people, and because she doesn't want to waste any time, and also doesn't want to waste the light of this candle, which is cannot utilize fully. So this is the analogy that Master used for her own personal life. As we know, for every year-end ceremony, Master, when we especially for the commissioner Sutra in Dui, and we also will light up the candle, the electric candle, but I think the meaning is the same. Masters how that we light up from personal to others, and so that to get the room brighter. This is what Master how that we all have to pass on the Tzu Chi spirit and the values, so that for our next generation, the future generation, they still can receive the right concept from what Master like us to be passed to. So Master say every day. Of course, recently Master didn't stop the Dharma talk, and actually Master say for before she have to wake up very early at 3:30, and she have to prepare the verses for the morning section that she hope that those who cannot understand Hokkien or the Taiwanese, at least they can see the word, and those people who can translate to other language. This is a Master. She tries very diligent, and every day when Master finished her meeting at 6 o'clock in the evening, and Master went back to her room, dormitory, and then Master, she will try to prepare for the next day. And Master will study very hard, and she don't want to waste a single moment. And Master also say that she always sit at her desk and work on to work on the tomorrow's Dharma talk. Sometimes when Master doesn't have enough time to do at the night, and for the next morning, after Master making her prostration to the Buddha, and Master will use some time to prepare before she go to the main hall to give us this morning talk. So, and after that, after we finish this, and Master have a very short break to have a breakfast, and 7 o'clock she starts another sharing for the 自贡早会. So of course that today we know Master only have 2 days to attend the 7 o'clock volunteer assembly, but we have to also to try to make sure that every Monday and Tuesday we have to schedule our time and to attend this volunteer assembly, so that we can listen the nearest and the newly news from Master and what she wants to try to tell us. This is very important. We have to get this chance. Yeah, I remember the first time I was the first, second, third year when I was in abroad, and we are so lucky because every week, every day is Master we attend the volunteer assembly. But after that, remember cut down 1 day, and she only have 6 days for the volunteer assembly attended. And now this year Master being cut down to only 2 days, so we are getting less chances to listen, because the Master would like to give us some time to practice, even though for our the Master in abroad or for the Ching as well. So Master want to listen whether we transform. I mean, whether we give concept sharing to everyone. Is this the right concept, or are we really accept it, and how we comprehend the Master teaching, and then we pass on to others volunteer. This is what Master would like to know. And Master say whether although she's getting old, especially those who are got chance to see Master, and we know that she when she walks so very slowly, especially when walk down to the stairs, and she have to be very careful and mindful and pay very much attention what is on the ground, and have to be very carefully. So, and she say the current lifestyle has become much more different from before. And she say we can grow old in age, but we don't give in to old age. 可以老，但是不要认老. So that's why we have the age at Treasury Bank. We keep step 50 years in the bank, age band, and then we use our young energy to do work. So I would like to share. Master say that for the Africa volunteer, especially we've been going through for over 20 years. As we know, Africa, the road is not very even, especially in the rural area. And our Tzu Chi volunteer, they manage to go to those people's house who need our Tzu Chi give us the help. So it's been past 20 years ago, and Master say from 2012 until last year, at least this information I get it from last year, and Master say actually the Africa volunteers, they form the international volunteer team, and they go through 7 countries to spread the Tzu Chi great love, and we go to those people who suffering. And majority the volunteers, they are getting old age, and they are like a grandmother stage, and they are local. So they travel to many countries in Africa, and such as Swaziland, Botswana, or some other countries, and their footprints go through. So if I just long distance, and Master say despite their physical condition, or many people, the volunteer, they are not rich, they live in poverty and hardship, but it won't stop them for serving as a Tzu Chi volunteer. And instead, they have a very strong mind and diligent to go on our Tzu Chi Buddhist our path. This is what Master did mention in the wisdom life. And there's a story saying that there's a granny Chile, which is who is over 80 years old, because she has poor health, but she told some other volunteers that if someday she's not here anymore, and that means that she's already returned on her vows again, and she will get back to our Tzu Chi, and want to be a volunteer and want to do the Tzu Chi mission. This is she mentioned before, and Master say the African volunteers, they are very their heart, their mind is very close to Master, and though they can't speak Taiwanese, but they are growing in their wisdom life because they able to establish a very correct faith, 正信, and they believe Master's teaching, even though they have a different religion and belief. Some of them may be Catholic or maybe Christian, but yet they still want to follow our Master and to continue to do the Tzu Chi work. This is very not easy. And Master say, we don't know how long our life is, but we can broaden our life, and we can spread the great love and surrounding people that we know. This is Master encouraging us. And I remember through the Dai TV and the news, they've been have this news and regarding this Africa people volunteers, they sang this song, and I tried to write down. And this is what they say is like, my Master, please hold my hand so that I won't get burned in the fire. If I leave this organization, who will preach to me? This is what they sing for the song. I think this is not just for the African volunteers. I think it's suitable for everyone, include us. Not just for African people in Hualien or Malaysia or in Australia, Singapore. Everyone have to keep in mind, as we cannot leave this organization because we still need Master to give us the right teaching. This is I can share and try to share with you. Master say in the Africa volunteer who are in this kind of poor condition, but yet they still can do the helping job. Master say they are like those poor countries just are like a money point, and the seeds of lotus is just a volunteer. This is the analogy that Master used to describe for this Africa volunteer and the situation. And so we know that volunteers are like seeds of the lotus in the mud, and the lotus thrive and burn because of the money. And Master also say the volunteers in Africa are like the black pearls that can shine so brightly. This is we always heard Hei Zhen Zhu from Master. And there's a book which is Master always say when our whenever Master Ancient Dao Shi give our Master work for Buddhism and work for the sentient being, 为佛教为众生. Master say, actually in 1 second you can finish the sentence, but it Master still cannot finish 受用无穷. So still very can use 受用无穷就是 infinite to finish to use it. So 1 second in life can determine one's life. This is Master in 1 minute, 1 second that Master Ancient give our Sangren, and she can use until now. Yet Master say I still haven't finished the task that given by our ancient Dao Shi. So it's very important that Master give us the 佛性师智, take Master condition as our own, and the Buddha's heart is our heart as well, because Master can give us. And I remember also there's a story which is I also read that before, and now I would like to share. This is a story of the ancient Greece, which is there was a philosopher called Socrates. There's one time a group of students went to visit the teacher and seek, hopefully to seek advice from the teacher and give them the guidance. What is the life, a person lifestyle, and then the teacher, the philosopher Socrates, and took them to the orchard and to tell the students, and you start from the entrance to the end and walk through all the way, and within the orchard, and you carefully choose the most beautiful fruit and that you like, and you pick it. You only can choose one, and you only can have one chance. You cannot walk back. This is what the teacher said to the students. And the students, when they walk through all the way to the end, and at the entrance, and they saw the teacher standing, and the teacher asked them, so have each of you picked the most beautiful or the best fruit that you like? And this one student replied, say that, teacher, can you give me another chance? And the Socrates asked them, there's no more chance you can have. And why don't you pick any single one fruit? And the students say, as soon as they enter and they saw the beautiful or big fruit, but they thought that maybe the farther inside there must be a bigger or more beautiful, better fruits that have. So there's afraid that if I pick it now, and I will lose the chance, because maybe go further, they will have another one better than this. So that's why I decided not to pick the first that I meet at the first entrance, that I meet this fruit. So, and some other students also asked the teacher for another chance, but the Socrates said to the students, no more chance, because we only have one chance to live up through the true story that the Master been shared with us in the field for the past years ago. So it's regarding the time, we have to grab this opportunity, and we have to like 把握当下，很迟，刹那把握当下。You have to take this opportunity. This is very important. So that's why this week I just like to share with you, and also remind myself have to take time, as you know, to work individually. And Master taught us that must be committed in our responsibility, whether you are in studio or in your personal family or whatever, in your office or whatever. Please don't say that this is not possible today and I will still have tomorrow. Master did also have a lot of story regarding this. And also don't say that you're still young and you want to earn money and you will wait until you retire and you want to join volunteer. Please don't don't say this kind of words because we know life is impermanent. We don't know what will happen in the next second. As I say that Master Tzu Chian did mention that I cannot guarantee you will have a beautiful day tomorrow, but you will definitely will get old for tomorrow, for each day you pass. So Master also say if we lack of recognizing about the impermanence of life, we just continue to waste the time, and we will gradually to become less 懈怠 and less of. Is it? Yeah. So I think finally, just like to share, Master say, if we have the Dharma in our heart, and our wisdom life will last very long, and hope that for our future, when we go on to the end of life, wow, to the next future, but not bringing our bad karma. And when we rebirth, we don't know where distance that we were born in, and we very maybe have a hard time to listen to Dharma. This is very terrible. I hope that everyone can continue to bring this master teaching, and we bring it to our next future. Okay, I think this is the sharing for today. Okay, thank you.
Okay, morning. Gan En for the wonderful sharing. Today we have Brother Eric Sim coming all the way from Johor to share with us on this beautiful Saturday morning. His story is very inspiring. When I first heard about his stories, I think last year, it really touches my heart. So today we are very blessed to have. Actually, he shared before first time, but I think the connection was not so good that time. So now he's here at Jing to share with us. Let us hear his story, Brother Eric.
So I shall begin. First of all, morning and greetings to Master and also to Master, and also greeting to all the volunteers around the world. Thank you for giving me a chance to do my sharing. Indeed, time is really about how to help us to accomplish things, and I'm actually sharing a little bit about my pathway of what I've been doing for the last 3 years, and hopefully that will give some inspiration to other volunteers that we talk about what we continue in terms of time. Everyone can hear me? Yeah. So just give everyone a light moment of time of what I've been doing for the last year. How Xing Fa Xiang really helped me and learning a lot from masters, and taking by going way back to 2016 when I first started with Tzu Chi, and when I first joined Roman school, I already started to go into CG already. Sorry, before I actually go on, I think I should introduce myself. I really forgotten about that. Everyone call me Eric. My Chinese name is Jing, and my Hao is actually Jing. Alright, so I continue on 2016. I started off with drama performance at CG, and also I went on to do a lot of contribution in the Pusas. And I went on then to move into 2016 also to work with Tima in Johor Bahru, and that's where I started off with Tima. I also started off in hospice care. So as you can see in the picture itself, how the way I continue to accompany colon cancer patient at stage 4, and for the last 9 months before he end his life. I really can understand how master feel about taking every minute, every second of the opportunity to so that we really do not waste our time, because as I see this patient itself in the same situation, he's already 35 years old, and myself now I'm approaching 50. How I actually will also continue to feel the same way about really cherishing every moment of time, every effort that I can do. And I went on in 2016 end of the year also to Tima, to continue with Tima and actually Myanmar Free Clinic. Really start to see how the people there suffer tremendously, and you know, in terms of all the nature disaster that they were facing. Coming back to Malaysia, really feel so fortunate in life, and how much of Tzu Chi have actually put on the effort without any things that to be expected back, and we continue to learn the culture of what that we understand from all the masters in order to put our blood and sweat together in order to really turn around Myanmar at that point of time. And I went on to also continue in 2017 to learn more knowledge, to acquire knowledge, and also to understand more what exactly is actually things that's coming from team, what exactly Tima do, what is actually all this conference and convention all about. I really have to thank Tzu Chi. The amount of continuous education and knowledge that we actually attain is a no-ending thing, and it's a continuous thing until the very end of the day. So I really can understand the difference why we really need to learn from Sri Pasyang and actually to seek enlightenment. And in 2017 and 2018, I continue to be very active into medical home care, and I lead a group of volunteers to coordinate with a group of care providers, doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, in order to bring glories to different group of people. So as you can see, from a stroke patient, which is taught to the little child, for the last 15 months, I've been traveling from Johor Bahru to Kuala Lumpur, helping her with zero vision until very today. She's able to now see 3 feet of her vision. It's a 15 months of really hard work to work also with. Also thank you to a lot of volunteers from Tzu Chi, Kuala Lumpur, and also Selangor, who have also helped me to give her that glory time. And of course, then it goes down to palliative care and so many more things that I've done in 2017. I went on now this year very importantly in order to really uphold Dharma as water preparation in September in Johor Bahru. And I actually took part into 3 different activities. Dharma and Bell performance, in fact, is one of them. Something that I take up very seriously, and I hope that I continue to take this and enjoy this, and also to give others happiness in how the way we perform, and how even my recent old folks home visit, I think a lot of old folks are really clapping hands, showing their joy. And this is actually the efforts of understanding what they were suffering, but at least it's a very little thing that we can actually help them to do. I went on also to take up responsibility. Talking about Tzu Chi is really about Cheng Yen, going back to do Sochen, coming back wearing the blue shirt. It's really not so big deal about that blue shirt, but it's really about what you actually shoulder, what you actually Cheng Yen, what you really talk about responsibility. So in 2018, I went on to take up a new recycle center, and actually start to also relate back what is actually recycle and education all about. This is actually a new township. It's a hard work in order to bring residents together in order to understand what is actually recycle all about. And as my hobby goes on, 2018 during Buddha Dharma, I went on to take up also photography session. Really I have to thank a lot of brothers and sisters that actually helped me to give me a lot of learning about this, and continue to take up pictures and actually put in more history, maintain more history in Tzu Chi, so that everybody will be able to know more about all of us what we have been doing, and some of the good examples that everybody can remember us. Hopefully also the next generation will also be able to enjoy what we have been putting up the fruits for each and every one of them. And of course, Tzu Chi is really, when we talk about Sochen, of what I've been learning about Tzu Chi. Actually, in fact, Sochen is actually a master, you seek refuge here, Sanhui, and that's so simple. Why we really need to go through the last 4 years of hard work with all the patience and all this stuff, and at the end of the day, what does it mean? When that moment of time when I was really there, and when I stood up on the stage in order to give my sharing, and finally when I met up with Cheng Yen, I really feel so deep in depth into how I feel about Chang Yen, and what was coming to me. What was coming to me was a bigger challenge because my wife was facing brain hemorrhage. Yet I had to, in 2018, Chinese New Year, I got to face a very big challenge, which is my wife went into a coma, and also her brain was actually, and it was something like a 48 hours turning point. She was really so strong because of she was young every day. How we went through a road of recovery, and she's recovering, and because of well, this year and she's going back to sentient. Really hope forward to see Cheng Yen with my wife, and also to thank her for giving me the blessing last year when I did my sentient, and also relate the story to her about what my wife was going through. Learning as much as possible of Lotus Sutra, measurable meaning, and also 37 principles is more than enough for us to really give us the wide knowledge of what we really look for learning, and how the way we ourselves think, and how the way we look at ourselves, and how the way we behave, which at the end of the day it lies into what we learn about one thing is about success only. The success is so simple that I've been going through for the last 4 years, finding happiness, love, and gratitude, and how we can be able to share this across to everyone that is actually suffering. This is also very much about what I've learned about noble truth. When you see other people suffer, you see from all those pictures that you have seen, it's really what you actually put back into your own conscious mind, and how actually you add on to your own action and reflection. Seeing is believing, and doing is then making things that will happen not only to yourself but also to others. Reflection really talk about emptiness, and that's what I'm actually trying to what the formula about compassion is. So we are willing to give, to continue to be persistent about it. You really see what will be coming back to you in a very, very positive way. Of course, not everything is positive, but you hope, not only hope, you believe that this thing will turn around and actually make things happen to you. And of course, by virtue, you really truly awaken your mind, and also change how the way you think. Of course, then finally come to point number 5, which is about balancing yourself through the 7 factors of enlightenment. How we continuously remind ourselves of our mindfulness. Every time we come to see ourselves, we always talk about mindfulness. I had a lot of difficulty actually. 5:30 in the morning when I had to struggle with Tai Yu, what Master is saying, and continue 9:30 in the night. I continue to see subtitles in order to truly understand what Master is actually trying to tell me. And going back to the books in order to find different various topics in order to explore what it does it mean. Mindfulness really is about developing ourselves state of consciousness, and be very, very focused, and really feel for our own thought. And influencing our mind, not because it's influencing because we are influenced because it's a buy-in by Tzu Chi to make things happen that we believe. It's not something that people is selling to us, but something that we continue to learn how to touch our heart. And of course, end of the day, it challenges our mind, our concentration, especially the tranquility, and how things can be actually transform ourselves. You really see the good things about yourself, and how the way to part of the journey of enlightenment going into old age. Really reflect. Of course, finding the efforts by end of the day, what does it mean in terms of the desire? Every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I continue early in the morning, 5 o'clock till evening, 7 o'clock. No ending, every minute, every second, putting the entire effort from Wen to Tzu Chi to Dima to continuously every moment, every second, how I actually take up every moment of the time. And by the time evening, how I share my life moment together with my family, and that is where happiness comes. Of course, through a lot of seek refuge, and a lot of finality is how I actually translate it. Triple Gem is about Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. It's also about how I translate it using the medical way, physician, medicine, and nurse. a physician can cure you and then actually find various ways to, to overcome illness. But the medicine, what is the correct path in order to free ourselves from suffering? This is something that really, and maybe a very deep in thought in mind, and how we actually guide us in order to correct our own path and our own faith in believing into that path. And of course, the other part will be one body and one mind. Okay, element in ceasing suffering and happy and peaceful. And of course, finally, finding our true self of being a human, the after all mortal, and how the way we actually bring the Buddhahood in ourselves, being a Pusa, in order to see the intrinsic nature of ourselves. Right? So this, as you can see, the last 4 years of transformation really trained myself to be so much that I see the glory days coming ahead of me. You see from the right, so as you can see, the formula is so simple. The four, my son is actually a special kid for information. It's a server for each. My daughter also finding his own path and seek his enlightenment. And the last part is actually, if you can see, the number of brothers and sisters when will be continuously always at my back, patting my shoulders and also patting my Tzu Chi's shoulders in order to walk through that this path of journey in a very simplicity way, how the way we live our life. And I end my session in a very simple way. Thank you, Master, Tzu Chi, brothers and sisters. I think I've learned well from Tzu Chi Hualien in finding myself in the process of understanding about enlightenment. It's all about gratitude, kindness, and what we actually able to give back, not only to our Tzu Chi, but also to everyone. Thank you.
And Brother Eric, like his story is very powerful. He hasn't really shared about his children. So first time that I heard about the story of his children, I was really touched and hoping that he has chance to really inspire us, because Shin Fa Xiang has given him so much courage and this wisdom to walk through this difficult, challenging path. Brother Eric is not only father of children and taking care of life, he's also a very busy man. He's working in a corporate CIO of Kumpulan TPJ group, so he has to take care of all the centers across Malaysia, so he's very busy. On top of that, he's also very busy in Tima, even though he's not in JB every day, but he's Gan En, he's sending me messages, pictures daily, so he's like doing CC work daily as well. And he's very, of course we know he's very diligent in Shin Fa Xiang. He's also studying, he's also thinking of studying masters now, so he's a key really superman. Okay, we are very grateful. Okay, over to you, Master Fu and Brother Gan En.
Thank you, Brother Eric, sharing. Actually, just now through the presentation that you show us the flight, I can see you have been joining a lot of different kind of Tzu Chi activities. I think as we through the slide that you also saw that when we walk on from this shore to another, we would like to attend the Buddhahood, which is we believe that Buddha say we all have an intrinsic nature in our own. And I think you as Buddha have 32 marks of the auspicious marks, and I think through the picture that you show us, I can see you already attend at least 6 or 7 marks, because you've been as a Tima member, you joined it, and you also went for visiting the hospice, or there's a second mark and so on that the picture that you show. So I think this is one must say, especially in every country, same Tzu Chi country, Tzu Chi world, and we pave the right path, and so that each one of us, you not just only can go one, there's no one direction we can go to get enlightened. Actually, they have various different way for us to go, and we can join, and we can find out the true meaning that which is suitable for us to work for a Tzu Chi mission. Okay, thank you, and I hope that your wife recover very good, and hope that as I just now the sound's not too clear. Is it you say that your wife will supposed to to be a commissioner for this year. 那马是说今年本来要受证什么something?
She'll be, yes, Master. She's actually coming back to Taiwan Hualien for Sojourn this coming week.
For the coming this year of month, right? This end of year. So I hope that she can manage to do and can directly receive the blessing from Master, and hope that I can see you and your wife again in Hualien if you are able to come to Hualien, because I'm not sure whether for the certain trip will be in Hualien or in Taipei. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your sharing. It's very touching.
So let us continue with the QA. Last time the sharing ended at question 2, so I'll continue with question 3, which goes like this. So yeah, I know the person that asked this question actually has been waiting for a few weeks already. I've been seeing this question a few weeks. Sorry, I haven't been able to touch on that all this while. So the question goes like this: without mindfulness, or okay, so this was a quote from Venerable Ajahn, which says, without mindfulness, there will be no concentration, and without concentration and samadhi, it will be impossible to develop wisdom. So this phrase sounds kind of familiar. Usually we say precept, samadhi, wisdom, jing hui. But in another way, Venerable Ajahn actually interpreted it in a different way. That actually precept comes from mindfulness. That being mindful of what we are doing, being mindful of every single thought, every single word we say, and every single action is being itself a precept. So the idea of precept over here, I think what Venerable Ajahn is sharing is pretty powerful. That precept is not like rules that is trying to tie us down, trying to control us, or but in fact it's opening up our hearts, opening up so that we start to see the people around us, being mindful of what we are doing, being mindful of our of what our actions are actually affecting our environment. And so that's why it says mindfulness instead of precepts as the very first step for the 3 lossless studies. And so from mindfulness, we could gain samadhi, and from samadhi, we could gain wisdom. And so I think I agree with a lot of that. And so that's what Master also says at the end of every speech, that is, be mindful. Be mindful. And that is important, and that is what precept is all about. And that's how we control our monkey mind. That's what, after which the question mentioned, that's how we control our monkey mind. So being mindful is actually the core of what meditation is about also. By sitting down to meditate, it helps us, at least for my own practice, what I learned from my own sitting down meditation. I sit down for a while, about 10-15 minutes before I sleep. And it helps me to have a feeling, or to kind of regain back the calm mind by sitting down, by closing up the 6 senses. So it helps me to come down to the calm state, which helps me to remind myself what a calm state should be, and to keep that feeling throughout that whole day, and not forget about that feeling of the calm mind. And I think so sitting down helps me in that. So it's not in how long, it's not about how long we can sit, hours, 10 hours. It's not about that, but using that 10 to 15 minutes to get back to the calm mind and remind ourselves that is the feeling of calmness, and then using the feeling of calmness to live through our whole day. And so meditation is not just sitting down, but really throughout the whole day, can we be mindful all the time, while we're walking, while we are sleeping, while we are doing all our actions throughout the whole day, are we mindful all the time? And so that's our practice of mindfulness and precept and meditation in Tzu Chi. That is everyday actions, everyday meditation, every livelihood, being mindful. And so that's what Master is teaching us. And I think this is what can help us also. So that's my answer for this question. Okay, maybe you could have one more. And question 4. Question 4 goes, one of Buddha's virtue is being a tamer. So does this mean that Buddha can tame all sentient beings? Like, but in reality, not everyone listens to the teaching. Okay, so why is it so? I kind of forgot what my answer is. Give me a second. Okay, what comes into my mind is that, okay, I have this slide that says ability and vow. What a Buddha has, I think, is that great vow, like the 4 great vow that goes, all sentient, that vow, the infinite, the number of sentient beings they are, but a vow to liberate all of them. So I think it's in that way that the vow is infinite, that Buddha will tame, and has a vow to help all sentient beings. And that vow is powerful. As long as the vow is there, it will, one day or another, whether it might take infinite long eras of time, but as long as the vow is there, we will get there. Without the vow, we would never get there. And so it's not about, although we say the Buddha, one of the Buddha's virtue is a tamer, it is not, of course, for the Buddha, he has the ability, but it does not mean, it may not mean that all sentient beings are already tamed. It might take longer time if our defilement is much, much deeper. It might take a bit more time for even the Buddha to tame. So how easy are all of us? Are we tameable? Of course, that is also control. That is also our own karma. Are we allowing ourselves being tamed, or is our karma so bad that we do not have the ability, or we do not have the affinity to meet Buddha himself, to hear the teaching, or to be willing to receive the teaching? I think that's our own karma. But the Buddha's vow is that he will tame each of us. He will liberate all of us. I think that's 2 different things. And so his virtue, Buddha's virtue, is that he will want to help all sentient beings. But whether we could receive it, whether we can be tamed, that is our own karma, and that is what we need to cultivate and help ourselves and help everyone around us as well. So that's my thoughts for this question. Okay, so maybe for today we can only cover 2, and so maybe we could wrap up for today, and just to share with everyone that Brother Joe is back from the trip around Taiwan also. So yeah, just say hello. See you. Well, I'm kicking. Okay, so that will be 2 for today then. Thank you.
And wonderful to have Brother Joe with us also. Gan En, Huang Sifu, Brother Yong Ping, Brother Eric Sim for sharing lots of life wisdom. Thank you, Pusas, for your presence today. Hope that each of us will sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Masters and Hualien love for our life. Let us please make 3 bows to the Buddha and Master Cheng Yen as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily lives. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life, universal truth. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Huang Sifu who could join us today. Gan En Sifu for your wonderful sharing. Okay, one last video from our side. 40, almost 40 people here. I think actually there are 40. Some maybe. Okay, come. You can see us. See you all next Saturday. And